ケンジって今仕事してないの？失業中なの？
Hello lovely people and welcome back to my channel. This is my first reading vlog of 2021. It's Monday afternoon. I took my morning a little bit slow. I was a little bit sore from my workout yesterday, so I did some stretching, bullet journaling, ate lunch. Let's discuss the books that I want to read this week. So first I should start out by saying that I did start a non-fiction book last night. I think I do want to read more non-fiction this year. I'm not going to say like a specific number just because I don't know how often they can come from the library, but one that I do have on my shelf that I wanted to read last year and didn't get to was How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram x Kendi. So I started it from the introduction and then read 2 chapters from there. I am annotating or at least underlining. I have my sticky tabs in here to mark down anything of significance, especially facts that I didn't know about that were really surprising or shocking to me, definitions that I want to keep in mind. So I am going to slowly be reading this. I'm not going to say that I'm going to finish it this week because it is non-fiction and I'm taking notes, so I just want to be able to take it all in. But I have 3 books and then 1 audiobook to talk about. My January pick of the month, and this was an anticipated read for me. It's like in my 2020 release thread in my bullet journal. This is The Prophets by Robert James Jr., if I remember correctly. This is about 2 male slaves in the Deep South and their friendship, their love. It's LGBTQIAP+, which I don't think I've ever read in a story about slavery. And then the next book that I have is You Will Notice It from my upload for this week, or last week rather, my Target Date Challenge, the book that Coda ended up getting me, which is the 50 Words for Rain. This is about a Black and Japanese girl living in Japan post World War II. So her father was American GI who had a relationship with married Japanese aristocrat. Oh my god. So I've never read a story regarding a biracial person in Japan, so I think this should be really cool. Especially as a Japanese person, I'm definitely interested to see more about like World War II in Japan. As a kid, I was really interested in World War II, specifically focused in Japan and Europe. And then the last one was my book of the month pick for last month, but also the Book Troops book pick of January, which is Gabby Reed's book club, and I can't wait to get to this. It flips the script on Jane Eyre in A Timeless Tale of Forbidden Romance, which is, it sort of gives me like Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier vibes, about a young woman who's broke and she's like the dog walker for a really rich community, and she falls for one of the recent widows there. And then the last one that I have, because I'm trying to go to the library today, I have 3 books to return and possibly pick up, although I'm not really sure, I have to check. And I have a book that I had on reserve that just didn't come in time for Smutathon, and it's Fire in His Blood by Ruby Dixon. And you're gonna ask me what it's about, and I don't really know, except that I think it's a sci-fi romance. Oh my god, I feel like my pimple got bigger. Okay, so we went to the library and our library was exposed to COVID, so apparently the hours have changed and we got there an hour after it closed. We did end up going to Barnes & Noble and I was able to use a gift certificate that my friend gave me, so I'm gonna do a call with my sister and we'll share the books that we got. I only got 2. So the first book that I knew that I wanted to get was Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, and I know that this was really popular when it came out in 2020. This is a hard-hitting YA story about a new discovered singer, right, named Enchanted, and she wakes up with blood on her hands and has no recollection of what happened the day before, and it's supposed to talk a lot about rape culture within the music industry, I think. And then I picked a romance that was anticipated for me. This is How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams. This is about like a professor or something, yeah, Nia Turner, who has a one-night stand because she never goes out to have fun and she wants to have it all no strings attached, but she ends up meeting this guy and it's a romance, so we all know where that's gonna lead. First, I got a puzzle. It's like Zodiac, which I really like. Because she said she wanted to get a 500-piece puzzle, but ended up finding a 1,000-piece one. First, the paperback of Know My Name by Chanel Miller. Then Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I just finished reading Loveless and I really liked her
book. I mean, this has really great reviews, right?
Yeah, it was talked about all over booktube. It was even a book that I wanted to read, and I've been on hold for it from the library for so long, so I probably should just cancel that.
And if I want to read more, I can just get more at bookshop.org or something. And then I got Untamed signed edition.
The last signed edition.
Yeah, it's on Reese's book club list, and a lot of people talk about it, saying like it's like one of the best books they've ever read.
I really like
last year, so yeah, I like it too. It kind of looks like nail polish mixed together.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah,
it's pretty. And then the Office of Historical Corrections, which I've been seeing pop up a lot,
because I know that was a book of the month option, but the only reason why I didn't want to get it is because it's short stories, right? And I don't typically like them or pick them up.
Oh, this is really cute. That's pretty. Okay, I'm really happy that I bought it just for the aesthetic.
Wait, let me see what this one looks like. No, it's just plain.
But I like the white
got
and gold.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what Untamed looks like. Oh, okay, but this color's pretty.
Because you usually have to get like a special edition for it to look like super nice when you take off the book jacket.
That's true.
We ended up making a dent already in January with our books, but we were justifying it. We were like, we're supporting POC authors, like LGBTQIA+, like it's okay.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to the library again, and then my family wants to come with me to get in some exercise by walking and run some errands as well. My pimple hasn't been getting any better. It's worse because I'm on my period, and also because the mask situation doesn't help it, and then my eyebrows are like too dark today. Like, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, this morning I just worked. I had a half day today, and I was able to get in some reading. I'm like 20-ish% of the way through. I don't really have like a lot of thoughts. I'm curious to see how the story is going to unravel. Noriko was raised by her mom, and then at the age of 8 she was dropped off to her grandmother's house, and it turns out that her mom was the daughter of an aristocrat. Her grandmother is a cousin of the Japanese emperor. She was born out of wedlock. Her mom like cheated on someone. She was impregnated by an American GI, and that was like right before World War II. It got really bad. She was born in like 1940, so she's hidden away. She's forced to take skin lightening treatments during her bath, and she's basically just like hated by her grandmother until she meets her half-brother, who comes to live with them because his father has died, and their mother is like totally out of the picture, and he's being really nice to her, and he's like appalled at the treatment that Noriko has been getting, and so she's allowed like a taste of the real world, or a look into the real world. It's just a little bit weird as someone who can speak, read, and write Japanese, reading Japanese written by a non-Japanese person. I feel like the dialogue can seem kind of weird, especially because it's written in English too, which is like even more weird. So we'll see how much that deters me from enjoying this book. The game's in overtime. I'm fucking stressed. It's a 2-point game. Fuck. It's over. Sadly, it's over. I'm sorry I doubted you. I love you, Duncan. I'm currently watching Duncan Robinson's podcast, the first episode. So I'm just getting in some morning pages right now, even though it's past 12, and then I will update you on my reading last night. I had a massive plate of food for lunch, and I thought I was gonna do laundry, but my sister went running, so I think I'm gonna do laundry after she like comes back and showers and stuff. But for right now, since it's already almost 3:30, I'm gonna get to reading. So I'm 40% of the way through this book. I actually read a lot more than I thought I did yesterday. I read like 150 pages, and so far I guess I would say it's easy to read because I was able to read so much, but it still really bothers me about the whole thing, because as someone who knows Japanese culture as well, it's kind of weird seeing it in the perspective of somebody else, and I'm not sure how much research this author has done. I'm really hoping that she did. There's this part where Noriko like prays to God, and she's Christian, but she's a child of a family that's related to the emperor's family, so I would assume that they would be Buddhist and not Christian because Christianity was illegal for a long time. And it just really bothers me that they call her Nori, which is seaweed. There aren't really any nicknames for Noriko. But I'm gonna try to finish this today. I'm 40% of the way through, so I'm going to watch a read with me from Emma Books. I want to finish it today so that I could start a new book tonight, so that when I go away for the weekend, it's Coda's birthday coming up. So we're going to stay at the hotel that we did for my birthday, and I want a fresh book. Excluding the talking portion of Emma's video, that was about 42-ish minutes, and I read just over 100 pages. I think I'm pretty fast, but obviously if I were like reading a YA novel, I would read much faster, and if it's like a classic, I would be much slower. I'm gonna take a mini break. I don't know if I'll find another read with me, but I'm gonna get some more water and actually get to the laundry now. So far now, I'm at 63% of the way through. We're getting along in the years. It's like 1954. I'm not really sure where the story is going to go. I would say it's more character driven, and Nori is definitely becoming more confident in herself. She has been shunned her entire life and hidden away. She wasn't allowed to leave the property, but now she's like finding herself. She's learning how to say no, talk to people, but also like defend herself verbally. I did finish 50 Words for Rain by Asha Lemmie, and I really wanted to like this. I finished writing my Goodreads review, so if I'm looking over there, that's what I'm referring to. I really wanted to like this book for, you know, a few reasons, because Coda got it for me and he has never gotten me a book before in like the 5+ years we've been dating, and also because it was the idea of this book, what this book was about, really intrigued me, right? I'd never read a book about any biracial person in Japan being raised in post-war Japan when Americans were really seen as the enemy. And I would love to read more books regarding that, of what it's like to be a biracial person in Japan, in a country where like racism isn't really a thing because it's so just surrounded by only Japanese people that you really aren't aware of the racism. But this book sort of just fell flat for me. Apparently that the author spent time in London and Kyoto before in terms of like research, but I don't know how in-depth she went, because it just, the customs were sort of weird, and like the terminology was definitely correct, but it wasn't used properly, and it felt really awkward. You could tell that the dialogue wasn't written by a Japanese person, because they weren't things that would be said by a Japanese person. Like, it's not really the Japanese way. It was definitely written in English by an English speaking person in like an English speaking way. The characters, because of that, didn't exactly seem fully Japanese. Like Nori isn't, but she was raised as like 100% Japanese. She doesn't know any American customs and things like that. I found that very odd and just hard to see, and I might be really harsh because I am a Japanese person and I know these customs, but like if I'm going to be reading a book that takes place in Japan about Japanese characters, I want it to be really authentically accurate. The other thing was about physical contact. Japanese people do not make physical contact. It's very rare for someone to hug or shake hands. Like when you shake hands with a Japanese person, it's the most uncomfortable thing in the world. It's like holding a flaccid dick. Okay, it's really disgusting because they don't know how to do it. They bow, they don't touch hands at all. And so that was really weird, where there was like one character who kissed Noriko's hand, which is like unbelievable, and the fact that Noriko and Akira were hugging, and like, no, that's so weird. Like, even as siblings, like family members don't do that. That's so weird. And then just the whole thing about Noriko being called Nori, and the fact, you know, about religion. I just found the ending also to be really unbelievable. Like, after all of the abuse that she had endured, that's the way that the book was going to end. I feel like she grew up a lot as a person, and she grew into herself rather when she left, but I just didn't see or like that the book ended that way and it sort of unraveled this way. So I'm really sorry, babe, but I did not like this book. I'm giving it 2 stars. I feel like I'm gonna keep it on my shelf though, just for sentimental reasons, because it is the first book that he's gotten me, but I didn't like this. I think next up, because I want to finish it by Friday before I leave for my trip, and I think I'm going to get through it relatively quickly, I'm going to start The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This is, like I said before in the beginning of the video, for the book club, book troop, for Gabby Reed's book club, and it doesn't look too long. It's a thriller. I should fly through it. It's my favorite genre. And then of course I will still be making my way through How to Be an Anti-Racist. I actually read like 2 to 3 chapters last night, so I might do that before dinner or something. Right now I might take a break. That was a weird shadow. I don't know what that was. I think it's been long enough. I haven't actually diffused my hair this whole week. I've only been like trying out different ways of plopping and then air drying it afterwards. Right now it's before work, right? So it's 8:45. I'm so hungry, surprisingly. I'm not a breakfast person usually, so I'm surprised. But last night I did start just a little bit of The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. I read about 34 pages, and because I have time before work, I was filling in my bullet journal, obviously. And then I realized that I usually calculate all the pages that I read and I update y'all. Yesterday, because I read so much of 50 Words for Rain, I read 260 pages plus 34 pages of The Wife Upstairs, that I was able to bring the marker all the way over here. My wrap goes all the way up to 250 pages, but I read 294 pages. I have a total of 515 pages for this entire week, and the reading plans at least, are to finish The Wife Upstairs. I haven't updated y'all at all about my thoughts on this book. I'm seeing a lot of interesting arguments. They're obviously all for the ideas that I would like to be putting into action in my own life. Last year I did read The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, which I also annotated, and I really enjoyed it. Some of that is being written into this, so it's not like a lot of new information. It's still interesting and it's still like really valid, important information, so I'm still underlining it just so that it's like further ingrained into my brain. It was also a little bit confusing because in this book, or especially mostly in his introduction so far, he explains to you the difference between racism and anti-racism, but then he uses like the same exact definition for each, but the only words that are different are racist and anti-racist, so it gets like very wordy and confusing. It's definitely helping that I'm like writing things down, taking notes, and sometimes when text gets really confusing to me, not just for nonfiction materials but maybe like classic materials, I like read it out loud to myself just so I can hear it as well as like see it. I find that to be helpful as well. It's like 10 o'clock. My pimple's not getting any less red. Right now I'm figuring out my outfits for the weekend because I need to start packing, and then I need to read because I haven't read any more than I did while I was working today. Oh my god, I didn't update y'all on my thoughts about the book. It's really easy to get through. I have never read Jane Eyre before, so I wasn't sure what the twist was gonna be, but it is like, what? People be cray. Okay, but I am really enjoying it. I'm flying through it, and there's definitely some weird shit happening on both ends. Jane falls in love with Eddie. She was his dog walker, or the dog walker for like the gated community, so they're super rich, they're uber rich, and she is poor and was crashing on some creepy guy's couch, and she falls for Eddie, and their relationship develops and like moves along really quickly, so she moves in right away. It's sus because she has a secret past, so Jane's like not even her real name, but Eddie is also sort of sus. His wife disappeared 6 months ago. Her best friend died on a boating accident and they can't find the wife from there, and so he moved on really quickly, you know, 6 months. Like, I won't tell you how to fall in love, but like he grieved very differently from the husband of the best friend. It is like past 3 probably already. Yeah, it's 3:30. I'm a mess. I haven't even washed my face. Oda and I have just really been taking it slow. We checked into the hotel yesterday. We're on the same floor as where we were for my birthday, but we're on a different in a different room, and the view is still gorgeous. I love it. We only have dinner reservations today, so today we woke up pretty, because we slept so late. We woke up late and then we ate our leftover Chinese, which was still like really good. Like, leftover cold Chinese food was really good, and so we're just now getting ready. But last night I did finish The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. Ooh. I think I'm giving it 4.5 stars. Towards the end, it was so mysterious and it was like jaw-dropping. I was audibly gasping on the train, which I loved. I'm sorry, my mask needs like so bad. My battery's dying and I didn't bring another battery. So I think I'm giving it 4.5 stars because at the end it did get a little bit predictable and it was sort of disappointing. Usually if it's predictable and it's written in a way that's like really exciting, I like it. But I know that this is Rachel Hawkins' first mystery, I think, so props to her. I'm definitely interested in reading Jane Eyre now. I posted a Bookstagram photo for this and a lot of people were like, I've been seeing so many people talk about it, so many people are saying how much they loved it, and definitely props to Gabby for picking this as her first book for the book club. I'm interested in to see what her thoughts are, so I'm waiting for the live show. But today and tomorrow probably. I don't know if I'll do a check-in because of my battery. I decided to start Throne of Glass instead of The Prophets just because I didn't want to bring 2 hardcover books. Maybe I'll read The Prophets in another vlog, or I will definitely hopefully read it this month because it's my January pick of the month for book of the month. And I'm nervous to start this because I know this has a huge fan base. I'm not even sure what it's about. Like, don't even ask me. I know it's YA sci-fi fantasy, probably high fantasy, and I'm really excited because I did say that I want to read more fantasy. I'm fucking nervous, but maybe I'll see you later. I'm so behind on editing, I can't even be bothered to pull out my camera for this one, but I'm here to wrap up the vlog. It is fucking Wednesday night and this vlog needs to go up in the morning. Finished 2 books for this vlog. I first read 50 Words for Rain by Asha Lemmie and I gave this 2 stars, and then next up I read The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins and I gave this 4.5 stars. And I'm still in the middle of How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram x Kendi, which is somewhere, and also Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, which is somewhere. So far I'm like 60% of the way through with How to Be an Anti-Racist. Still really great information that I'm getting through that. And then Throne of Glass, I honestly don't know how to feel about it. So far it's been pretty average, maybe like 3 stars, closer to like 2.5 maybe. I'm not really feeling the characters at all. However, I did all the calculations and for this vlog I read a whopping total of 919 pages, which I'm really happy with. Just shy, not really, but of 1,000 pages, which I feel really good about. I do hope to read more, of course, for the year for my next vlogs, but I think this was a good start for the first one of the year. So I hope you enjoyed. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.